Hi, my name's Helen and this is my channel, Helen Mary Jo. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're returning, thank you. And if you're a Hell's Bell, hello. So this video has got three parts. I am doing a flower arrangement in a pumpkin. I am doing how to preserve hydrangeas, cut hydrangeas for the autumn winter months. And I'm making a sock pumpkin. Today I am doing a little project. I have no idea where I get these ideas into my head, why I make my life more difficult, but it's a very simple project and it's one that most of you, if you're interested, could turn your hand to. Now, I don't do a lot of house decorating for Halloween. I've got some bits in the garage and it's half term. Halloween falls in half term in England. And so if the kids want to do that, like, it's there and they can do what they like. But today I am doing a flower arrangement in a pumpkin. And you can see I've hollowed out the pumpkin already. And this honestly is just luck, because I was trying to find a container and Rob's busy, so I couldn't ask him to help. And I was like, oh, the yogurt's nearly finished. And look how well this fits in here. Like a glove. So I'm using that. It just needs to be something that will hold water, really. I mean, this won't last forever, but nor will the fresh flowers. So I've got some roses that I bought in Tesco for £5, and I thought they went nicely with the pumpkin. I will move the camera down, obviously. And then I've just been around the garden and got some foliage to help, you know, bring it alive. So I've got some cordyline, it's gone again. As soon as I get on camera, my brain disappears. A little bit of, I think this is myrtle, and this is off, what's this called? I know what this is called because I bought it especially for flower arranging, but anyway, it'll come back to me, maybe. You'll all know, everyone tells me when I get it wrong. So I am just going to, I'm going to take this over to get the oasis, otherwise it's going to drip everywhere. So it's like David Bellamy. I have popped the oasis into their floral foam. You can buy this in, you know, the range, Hobbycraft, or your local florist would certainly sell you one block of this. I've got loads of it because I used to do quite a lot of flower arranging when I belonged to the flower club. Well, I was chairman of the flower club, actually. So what I've done is I have shaped the oasis floral foam and I have chamfered the edges just so that you don't have that block, because that does help. So what I'm going to do now, because I can't get me and this in the camera, I'll lower the camera and so you can concentrate and see what I'm doing. And I haven't done this before because basically, you know, I can't justify doing things twice. So this is going to grow organically, for want of a better expression. And I've also put a couple of kebab sticks into the lid because I will be using that as kind of a prop with the, oh, that's the doorbell. Yeah, I'm just doing a little arrangement that will go on this kitchen island, and I bought these. I got this pumpkin in Tesco's, I think, and these in Lidl because they are the cheapest place to buy these kind of ornamental pumpkins. So I just thought it'd be a bit of fun, really. You know, I don't even think I've got anyone coming round, so it's a bit of fun for me and Rob. Gosh, what have our lives come to? So I think I was just saying that it will kind of grow organically because I haven't designed it before. I'll move the camera down, and my idea is to have a kind of draping, kind of an, what do they call, oh my goodness, my brain's gone dead, an angled arrangement with the lid on one side. So like I say, I haven't practiced this, so we just have to hope for the best and take it from there. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is put these fatsia leaves in, and I have left this sticking up the foam because I want to be able to angle these into it, and if this wasn't kind of up, then I couldn't do that. because, you know, the way they grow is to kind of go that way, and I want them to go that way. I mean, look, that would be perfect, wouldn't it, if I wanted it to go that way, but I don't. So what I'm going to do, because this one is so kind of almost on an angle, I am going to put this here, so that very kind of neatly starts things off. I've only cut 3 of these leaves at the moment. I can always pop out and get some more if I need to, but I didn't want to take more than necessary. So that kind of starts to give me my shape. I might actually put this in place now, because might actually make my job easier if I've kind of got the form before I start. So I'm going to pop that there, so that kind of starts to give you the look. And then it's a case of, I've got some bay here, and these amazing, these are off the Fatsia as well. These berries, you can see, I mean, they might drop a little bit, but you know, we can live with it. So you can kind of use anything you've got in the garden, really. Any berries, you could use fir cones in here, you could use acorns, you know, you can use whatever you like really to start to give it that kind of autumnal look. So, I mean, I actually, when I looked at that kind of vase jug of foliage that I picked out of the garden to use in this arrangement, I thought it looked quite nice just as it is. So I'm just getting the kind of angle going on, and equally I will make sure that all of the white pot is covered. Obviously you never ever want to see the mechanics in anything like this. This is quite hard because I'm kind of doing it in reflection. Just turn it around. I will need some more foliage without a doubt. I want this to be at more of a kind of a height that day, so I am moving it to give me the most bang for my buck. I've got some ivy in the front garden. I might cut that in a second to get some contrast. There's some lovely berries on these as well. So it's just about getting that kind of crescent shape, what she's all about. So with this cordyline leaf, I'm going to split it. And this makes these very flexible and quite kind of, you know, architectural. You can use them. You know, you can staple them into shapes. You can do all sorts of things, really. Will I staple that? I don't know. So I have just stapled that, so that gives me a little bit more options with it. And that's quite nice because that kind of front leaf goes quite nicely around the stem. And you know, try not to waste anything. I'm going to use the other end that I cut off of that cordyline also as a bit of a feature. So you can kind of see where I'm going with it, can't you? And you'd be surprised, as soon as you start adding the flowers, everything comes together. Makes all the difference in the world. I mean, anybody seeing me shopping would have thought I was mad because I was holding the flowers up against the pumpkin to see what the shades look like. I remember when my friend, she bought a house in Spain, and when we were kitting it out, I remember walking around IKEA buying pictures and doing them on weight because we were taking them all over. Back then there was no IKEA. There might have been IKEA in Spain, but not near her house, so that was quite funny. Buying pictures by what they weighed more than anything else. I mean, they're amazing, those, aren't they? They look like something from a spacecraft. So I've got one there, so I need one up there. So again, just kind of making sure you balance everything. It's kind of just takes a little bit of practice to get your eye in, a little bit of practice to hold your berries in. And they're so cute, quite a little berry on there. Really lovely, I think. So you can start to see how quickly that is coming together. Very, very quickly. So I'm going to start adding some flowers in here. And when you're doing this, what I've done is I have trimmed the very sharp thorns off. But don't do them too close to the stem, because what you don't want to happen is that they, you kind of break the skin of the stem, and then they will start to, you know, the bacteria sets in. So I've kind of framed that in the cordyline, you can see. And then basically I'm going to bring those down in a curved line from the top of the arrangement. You know that thing they say, measure twice, cut once. It's so true. It's true in sewing, flower arranging, all of that stuff really. I know when I'm watching my sister-in-law, I've told you about before how skilled she is, and she measures and measures and measures again, and I'm so impatient, and I have to learn from her to, you know, not be impatient, because actually it takes more time in the long run, because you have to try and rectify your mistakes. So you can see how quickly that makes a difference. And having that oasis sticking out from the top really does help with giving you the flexibility to have some flowers, not sunflowers, some flowers going down and some kind of going up. Because I want that to be literally pointing downwards. Coming along, isn't it? I say so myself. Well, this was just a £5 bunch of flowers, and the pumpkin I think was £2. So it's not expensive to have a little play if you feel like it. You know, puts you in the mood of autumn. Though it's so warm today, crazy. Doing an arrangement like this, sometimes it is a really good idea to step right back and look at it, and then you kind of can see exactly what you're looking at. So I've already recorded a little piece that I did to kind of preserve hydrangeas. So I'll put that video alongside this video. So when I'm doing this, what I'm basically doing is I'm holding it in place and making sure I get the balance right. It's surprising how many it uses actually, but you know, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it properly. This would be nice to take along if somebody was having a bonfire night party or something, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to take along, kind of table arrangement. I can see that, you know, there's a gap. If you stand back, sometimes even taking a photograph, a bit like I'm always telling you to do when you're trying on clothes, you take a step back, you can kind of see naturally where the gap is. And the other thing I would say is that they should never be all exactly the same height. And equally, another thing that they say in flower arranging is there should always be enough room for a butterfly to fly between flowers. I'm going to use all of these, which wasn't actually my intention, but there's not enough to make a vase full, and so I might as well just make this as nice as possible. And £5 doesn't go far these days, does it? And my last one, so better get this right, hadn't I? Straight away I can see, you know, when you do something yourself, you can always see what's wrong. But most people would just see a pretty arrangement. I mean, if you're a florist, you'll see what's wrong straight away, I'm sure. But, you know, this is just a little home project. When you push the flower into the foam, you will feel it, and you will know if it's holding, if it's in the right place. It just comes with experience, really. So they go really lovely with the pumpkin, don't they? Really kind of set it off. So just see if I can use this for something. This other piece, I mean, you know, kind of do the whole less is more thing, but I might, I think I've got some wires here. What I'm going to do, I'm just actually going to pop this in the back without the wire, just to give it that little bit of extra element of height, and give it that kind of three-dimensional look. So that's falling over. See if I can pop it behind the fascia to support it. Yeah, that's done the trick. I'm going to trim that end off because it doesn't look very neat. So what I'll do now is I will tidy up and I'll put it in situ on the, show what I think I'll do. I'll put it on the hall table because then it can be seen as soon as people are coming in. You can't see the pot anywhere. Well, from the back you can, but I mean, nobody really apart from me is going to see the back. I've got a little bit of bay here, so just disguise that a little bit. Right, so I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit different, isn't it? But I think it looks quite pretty actually. Quite pleased with that. So something went right. That makes a nice change. Like I say, I'll set it up and then you can see what you think. So that's the arrangement on the hall table. There's the pumpkin placemat that I bought last year, I think in Poundland or somewhere like that. And there's the two other little pumpkins. So I think that looks quite effective. I'm happy. So these socks, I think these might be flight socks actually, I can't remember. But anyway, they're nobody's socks in particular, and these are quite handy because they're kind of suitable for what we're doing. Any kind of knitted socks will do, but obviously if they're in the greys or browns or blacks even, they'll look more kind of authentic. And because of the way these particular socks are made, I don't have to worry about the toe. Otherwise, you can get two pumpkins out of each sock. I mean, what do I sound like? But you just cut across the heel, and so you've got that tube and then that tube. So all you need is some wadding, some string, some thread, and a normal needle, and then, you know, a kind of an upholstery needle with a big eye, because you are going to be threading the string through the eye. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the camera down so that you can see what I'm doing, because otherwise I have to keep doing this. So you won't see me now. I bet you're sad about that. You'll just see what I'm doing. So as I said, I'm not cutting the toe, but you can cut the toe and you can gather the toe as well if you want to, but I don't need to for this particular one. So I'm just going to cut that off there. And then you've got the kind of body of the pumpkin. And then what I'm going to do is thread this needle with a length of cotton and then gather the top of the pumpkin. Now, I have before put like a little bag of sand or something in the bottom to give it a little bit of weight, but you don't need to do that. Especially if I've got this bright light on me, it makes it harder to see. So I am going to knot the ends of this, but I will also do a double stitch at the beginning. This is so easy, honestly. I've done this with the grandchildren before and they quite enjoy it. So there's my cut-off sock. I mean, there's loads of videos on YouTube if you want to have a look. And you just go round with the running stitch round the edge of the cut sock. Don't gather it up yet because you need to stuff it first. It's, I'd say, not even a centimetre from the edge is where I'm putting the running stitch. I mean, this is really, honestly, kind of a 20-minute project. You can make it fancier if you want to. You can use a sleeve of a jumper if you want to make a bigger pumpkin. So I'm just going to leave that there while I stuff it. And obviously you're wanting to make this pumpkin shaped. I've made quite a few of these actually. So you can see, you just keep kind of working that through so that you get the kind of flatter bottom, but it'll be the next stage where you make it really pumpkin-y. So don't stress over this too much, it will all come together as long as you fill that nicely. So that's kind of getting there now. So what I'm going to do is gather this up and poke it in. Then I'm just going to very simply pull all these edges together. Into the centre. Of course, that's Dolly. She always wants to go out when I'm doing something. Like I say, you can be quite kind of, as long as you've got enough so that when you flatten it down like that, you get roughly a pumpkin shape. That's all you need to worry about. Don't kind of get too concerned at this stage. Right, got to let Dolly out. Yeah. Won't be out for long. Look, she's already looking to come back in. That dog, honestly, should be the death of me. So that's the rough pumpkin shape there, you can see. So I'm just going to go over this a couple of times with a notch. Cut that off. And there we have it. That's the base of the pumpkin. Now the next hard part of this is getting the twine into the eye of this needle. I've got a wider needle I'm going to use. So I'm going to cut a fairly long length on this because I don't really want to cut it again, if you see what I mean. So now I've got to let the dog in again. Right, so I'm going to come in from the roughly in the middle of the bottom through to the top. I'm just going to leave a tail there so that I can worry about that afterwards. So don't put it all the way through. And then go back again to the middle and come through again. Get her a treat. And then pull that so you start to get that pumpkin shape. It's so straightforward, honestly. And then just look at it like segments of a pumpkin, you know, the way they're formed. Can you see? And then again, back through the middle, back up the middle. Just keep going around like that until you get basically the pumpkin shape. So just pull that tightly and you see how it gives you that. And they don't have to be exactly symmetrical because they aren't actually on a pumpkin, they're not symmetrical. And this will probably be the last one. Just keep it kind of in place. Make sure that tail isn't caught up in it. And there we have it. That's more or less the pumpkin done. And I am actually going to do it from this end. And just knock this off. And that's roughly your pumpkin. And then all I'm going to do here is tie this in a series of knots to create the stalk. Now you can get as fancy as you like with this, you know, you can add an actual wooden stalk, you can add felt leaves, you can add whatever you like. But if you're just doing it with the children, then this is probably enough. I think when we first started doing them, we made so many. And just keep going like that until you've got, you know, a stalk, basically. And there we have it. Little pumpkin in less than 15 minutes. Just a bit of fun, and it looks quite cute and costs virtually nothing if you've got those ingredients already. So I hope you enjoyed that little pumpkin making session. So Rob had these beautiful hydrangeas on a bush in the garden, and I said, oh, can you cut those before the frost or the heavy rain gets to them? So I've got 5 beautiful stems like this. I mean, they're not perfect, obviously, but I want to preserve them as long as possible. And I've got this lovely pink vase, which I think just really sets them off nicely. There's Dolly wanting to come in, as usual. I bought this glycerin from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description box, and there's a litre of glycerin here. I think it was about £8, something like that. And basically it's 1 part water, 2 parts glycerin. So I am going to put 12 ounces of water in here and then top it up to 36, which will be 2 to 1, won't it? Water. I'm just going to add the glycerin. It's funny stuff, isn't it? We'll see. I mean, it's using a lot of the bottle. I'm going to stop there, that'll do. Because it looks very odd in there. I'm just going to pour that into the vase, jug. Just going to pop a little drop of water in there to rinse that glycerin. I know that's changed the measures up slightly, but it won't be enough to affect it. So I'll tip the camera down. It's like a bit of a balancing act if Rob comes in and say, what are you doing? He always tells me off. And then I would just pop these in. And that one's got that dodgy bit on the outside, on the inside, so I'll keep that there. I just love hydrangeas. When I was young, they really had fallen out of favour, but they've come massively back into favour again. Just shows you, doesn't it? If you wait long enough, everything comes round full circle. And when you do this, you must cut all the leaves off. If there's any leaves, obviously, the energy is going to the leaves. And basically, that is that. So I'll just pull that one out a little bit so that it's sitting on the edge as well. And I think that looks really lovely as a table centre. And that's where it's going, on the middle of my table. So I just thought I'd show you that. It's just a little tip if you've got hydrangeas in the garden and you want to preserve them as long as possible, then all you need, I hope, is a bottle of glycerin. I mean, there's two other ways you can dry hydrangeas. One is you just cut them again, take the leaves off, and just tie them loosely and hang them upside down. Or you can put them in a vase with maybe 2 inches of water and leave them in the vase and just let the water go, and then they will dry out naturally as well. They do become very fragile and paper-like at the end of that process, but it does kind of give them another life. But don't hang on to them until they get dusty. I've seen that in people's houses and I've thought, well, that looks like something from a Charles Dickens novel. So anyway, that's just that quick little hack for you. Look forward to seeing you really soon.